charge attack in time. Okay, there we go. And that's about all there is to it. Oh, I did that. I do want to take this time to explain the RNG manipulation a bit. We mentioned it briefly earlier, and it's actually a pretty big part of the run, but this is the best opportunity to explain it since there's not too much else going on. Basically, there are all sorts of random events in this game. Things like whether or not an enemy drops health, or what attack a boss will do. The outcomes of these events are determined by a so-called RNG value, which is like just some number in the game. Conveniently, that value resets to 0 at the beginning of every mission, and it only changes when one of those random events occurs. So by having like a very consistent sequence of events that will happen in a stage, I can actually control every significant random event, as long as I don't mess stuff up. If he gets too far off the screen like that, he'll stop moving. Now that I've completed that mission, I can go back to the engineer servo and pick up the 4th weapon. A really neat thing about this route is the fact that all 4 of the weapons you get are very important to the speedrun. You'll get to see how the shield is used in this upcoming stage. Well, one of the ways it's used. It's actually got a few different applications. Now that I've got that shield, I have access to the most effective boss killing strategy that I'll be using a lot. Basically, I want to hit enemies, or bosses specifically, repeatedly with the first slash of the standing 3-hit combo of the saber. In order to do that, I need some way of resetting the combo, or else I'll just go through the full 3 hits. One option would be like to take a small step forward after each swing, but that's kind of slow. The better choice is for me to hold the shield constantly as I'm swinging the saber, and that will automatically reset the saber combo after each swing on the first possible frame. Sometimes it looks like I can climb up the ladder fast enough to get past that bomb, but I can't. Even the task has to wait for it. And then here I've just got to rescue these grumpy people. There's quite a few of them spread out in this area. You'll see me shoot a buster shot here. That's part of my RNG manipulation for the stage. Every time a lemon hits a wall, it creates like a little spark with some randomness and the visual effect. So that affects the RNG. Here are some guards. If they detect me, it'll raise an alarm that summons enemies and locks me out of rescuing the people for a long time. So I need to kill them from a distance with the buster. I'll also swing my saber at them when I get close sometimes, just as like an added insurance. But in theory, I can kill it with 1 green shot and 2 dash lemons. Dash lemons do more damage in this game than the regular shots, but not against bosses. Only affects regular enemies for some reason. Just one more up here. And I think I'm on the right RNG value, even though I kind of flubbed some of the movement earlier. There are a lot of mistakes you can make that will affect the RNG, and then a lot that won't. So sometimes I'm not quite sure whether or not things are right, but the items that the enemies were dropping look to be what I'm used to, so I think I'm in good shape. If the RNG's right, he's going to jump right at me, and then you'll get to see that shield canceling I mentioned earlier. And you can see I can just shred him.
Nice.
I should clarify that it's not mashing the saber while I'm holding the shield. There is a rhythm to it. If you attack too fast, you will go through the full combo despite holding the shield out. It's not too difficult though. Like anyone can do it as long as you're not going for like an absolutely perfect rhythm. Alright, duel in the desert. This is when the stages get back to being pretty difficult. We're back to the desert for the 3rd mission in a row, but this time there's like a million enemies in the way. I'll actually be killing quite a few of them, partly for the RNG manipulation, and then partly just to clear a path for myself. These things are everywhere. This was actually a really difficult mission to get a good manipulation on, because I actually need the boss to do the same attack 3 times in a row. In most stages, I only care about the first move the boss does, and then I either stun lock them or kill them so fast that nothing else matters. This guy is not that simple. I'll be using the shield canceling again, but this boss actually like jumps around a lot during the fight. So I need to have pretty good positioning if I want to always be in attack range, but not ever get hit by him. That's good. So you'll see I like knock him back after a bit. I have to be standing really close to him before I knock him back, that way he'll still be in range afterwards. Now I've got a bit of an intermission stage where I have to kill this giant robot. I'll be using a new technique here called damage stacking. Basically, if I have 2 attacks hitting an enemy at the same time, they will take damage on every frame, alternating between the 2 attacks. So I'll throw my shield in a specific way, and then try and put my saber through him at the same time. It's pretty tricky, so I'll have to focus here a bit. Good. Good. We'll get to see that technique a few other times. It does not work on regular bosses, though. Their invincibility frames would protect them from the damage stacking. It's only good on like mini bosses because they have no iframes. Okay, this is a fun room. There's a lot of enemies in the way, but I can just kind of get through everything with smooth movement. Ladders are tough. There will be these electrified ropes, but they only hurt me if I touch the spark at the end. I can just kind of jump through it. Alright, now another mini boss, and some more damage stacking to go with it.
We have a $50 donation from Urser. Awesome Mega Man block so far. Let's beat cancer and get that Final Fantasy 80% run going.
The top of this range is pretty trivial. You can get another donation.
We got a $50 donation from Anonymous. I've been watching since 2 years and couldn't donate. Since I now can, I will, even though I can't watch as much as I can. Keep up the good work and keep going fast.
This boss is also too high off the ground to use the saber on, so back to the tricky one for it. It's kind of tricky. If my attack rhythm's off, I'll miss some stuff up. Those spikes on the ceiling are instant death. Oh, that was kind of a mess. It's good to get out of there alive, though. There are a lot of ways to die in that fight because of all the damage, intentional damage boosts, and the instant death spikes. Let's see. Oh, now we're going into the stage that features a very difficult trick called the early sub-skip. I don't have a ton of time to explain it since I'll have to focus while I'm actually going for it. But the basic idea is there's an underground lake, the water level goes up and down over time, and in order for me to get the best possible cycle, I need to have basically perfect movement starting. Now I've got to wait on the cycle. That's okay. Like I said, very difficult trick. Normally you have to go like all the way across the bottom of the lake and then all the way across both slopes on the top. But by pogoing off that fish in the water, I can just skip the second set entirely. Now I've just got to destroy these computers. I'll just be spinning back and forth with jump slashes. Nothing to it. Back to the shield for the boss fight. This fight takes some slightly precise positioning as well. I have to land on the little ledge in front of her and then dash to a specific spot in the area behind her. And that will manipulate her into moving into good spots during the fight, where I'll actually be able to attack her from the ground. I should clarify, it's not RNG manipulation on this fight. Her movements aren't actually random. It's just like manipulating based on my position. Okay, rescue Cobalt. This is one of my favorite stages. It's just like really fun, simple movement. Kill some enemies. It is very dangerous though. At the end of the mission, there are some moving, floating platforms, and it's one of the most likely places for me to die during a run. So, let's see how it goes. Okay, not optimal, but I'm alive. We can close. And then if you remember the spin slashes I was supposed to use on the big elephant guy, I'll be using them here for Harpuya, just to knock him out of the air. Once I've got him on the ground, it's back to the regular shield canceling. I have to make sure I hit him with the middle of the spin slash. If I hit him with either the beginning or the end of the attack, he will get full invincibility time. It's a bit of a trick, but it's not too bad.
We got a $50 donation from Anonymous. Couldn't miss a chance to donate during the X block. That Mega Man X race was sick. Looking forward to this Zero run.
This stage is neat. I don't use the saber or the shield. It's really the triple rod's time to shine, both with those pogos and then also on the boss strat. And then we're also going to get to see what that Cyber Elf I took so long ago was actually used for. It lets me fly out of a pit that I fall into, and I can use it to just skip like the entire factory area. You'll get to see what's over there on the next mission though. I have to come back. The strategy here is really simple. I'm just going to stand underneath him and poke him, but the attack rhythm needed is actually kind of tricky if I want to get a 2-cycle kill. I'll take a lot of damage here, but it's not a big deal. I know how much health I've got. Back to the factory for the final regular mission before the end game. So first thing I'm going to do is shoot a buster shot at the full wall to the left. That's RNG manipulation. It's really convenient that that actually gets me a very good pattern on this boss fight, because with him being at the very start of the mission like this, I don't really have any other opportunities to affect the RNG. Alright, now there's a bunch of bombs planted around the factory, and I need to go disarm them. Terminal Z. That jump's supposed to be impossible, but I do it anyways because it can save half a second. These are the bombs. I just slash it with my saber and then pick them up. Perfectly safe way to disarm an explosive. And now you'll get to see the part of that last mission that I skipped. Gotta go across these floating platforms on this giant bottomless pit. One of the most dangerous parts of the run in terms of like probability of dying. Not extremely difficult though, once you've got like movement down. Yeah, we're fine. And then the rest of the stage is pretty trivial. I'm just gonna take some damage boost to get through.
We got a $20 donation from Dragon175. Hey Flame, it's me, Dragon, with the people from ZX, Ariel, and Icky. It's great to see you in your run in HD at last. We are all cheering for you.
Thanks, Dragon, and everyone else on the ZX crew. I appreciate it. Alright, now we're going into the endgame missions, right after a bit of dialogue. You could probably fit another donation or two in here.
No problem, we got a $200 donation from We Forgot. Hey Flame, We Forgot and BXB here, so hyped that the Zero community gained the love it so deserves. So next is Riviera SGDQ 2016, am I right?
Absolutely.
Looking forward to the amazing run, and if all else fails, remember, double frame perfect, double frame perfect, double frame perfect.
Thanks, Forgot. Alright, I don't have charge attacks. Does anyone know what the RNG manipulation is if I don't have charge attacks here? I think I forgot.
I just, whenever I watch you, Flame, you just have a bunch of numbers on your screen with RNG values. I have no idea what's going on.
Alright, well, we'll just assume it's 2 smoke clouds. This fight's really trivial if I get the RNG right. If I don't, he can be kind of a pain. Let's see. I want him to run at me. Perfect. Good fight. Alright, a little bit more cutscene. The spooky ghost of the original X is going to tell me that I can go to Neo Arcadia and fight the evil fake copy now. So spooky. This mission's kind of weird because like I have to actually go to the trans server and teleport there myself instead of just like talking to Seal and being out there. It's kind of convenient though because I've got something else to do here. Another Cyril do it. Identical to the one I used in the factory earlier. I'll be using it on this stage coming up. Won't skip quite as much with it, but it's still a nice time save. This first Neo Arcadia stage is pretty neat. It's kind of like 3 small missions all put together, each with their own sets of enemies and boss fight at the end. Permanently. I still don't have charge attacks, which is unfortunate. Normally I'd be using them on this fight coming up. I'll be doing damage stacking. I should still be able to pull it off with just the regular jump slash. Okay. Now I've got the charge finally, so I can take out these silly helicopter things in my way. And then Sword Dancer. Fight's really trivial with the RNG manipulation, except jumping over him without taking damage is 2 frames. Yeah, not quite. That's fine though. It doesn't really affect anything, just a small time loss. And then for the third and final part of the stage, there's those disappearing blocks that make my names up. Yoko blocks. Let's see, use the shield to actually block something for once. Fire chip, just in preparation for the boss rush. And then I use the bird elf to fly out of that pit and skip the cycle of the blocks. Now, I do still have the RNG manipulation, but this boss is kind of tricky. Like, you need to hit him in really specific ways in order for it to actually work. So, we'll see if we can hit. Thanks. So I want to see him dash across like that, and then I can just slash him repeatedly. If I don't do it quite right, like he'll jump into the air and do these like obnoxious lightning attacks, and just ends up being a really long amount of time that I can't hit him. Alright, now we're going into the most challenging mission, and also my favorite. Probably not coincidentally. It starts off pretty slow and trivial with this elevator ride, but before too long I'm going to get to some really tricky jumps. They're a lot like the ISIS jump with Mega Man X. For a while we thought they were pass only, but there's a pretty clever setup that makes them humanly feasible. I don't really have time to explain it in detail though, but I'll have to focus. Basically this entire climb.
Okay, basically what he's gonna do is he's gonna dash to the wall, and that puts him in perfect position so that he can just jump straight up, and then he'll be a little bit off the wall when he does this too. So that gives him just barely enough space to get it in one go.
I caught on one of them for a bit. That was fine. The rest of the climb's really difficult too. Catch the shots. Oh, I almost had that. That's fine. Just ride the platform. Okay, good. Yeah. Other than getting caught on the elevator skips for a bit, that was really good. RNG's not quite right, but that's one of the spots. Okay, I want to see this tornado. Just gives me a lot of time to get in here. Okay. Past the tower. Now we've just got the final stage, which is the boss rush. It's also like, RNG manipulation, the stage. Routing this mission took days, basically, just because my options for affecting the RNG are actually kind of limited. I don't have the Buster equipped, which would be the best choice. With the Buster, you can just like shoot however many shots into walls you want to affect the RNG. Here I'll be doing a trick. I'll hold the shield as I wall kick, and it kicks up a small smoke cloud. That cloud actually affects the RNG. Dust that you kick up when dashing, however, does not, thankfully. That'd be a huge pain. So Blizzak fight's going to be the same, except I'll wait until he ends the ice beam. While he's doing that ice beam, it affects the RNG like, pretty much constantly. So in order to have a consistent result, I need to let him finish it. Now Anubis. This fight's kind of finicky. On each of the cycles, I need to let him catch his weapon before I end the cycle. So you'll see me wait a bit before I hit him with this charge attack. And then just 2 pillars. Good. Now left side. Hit him with a charge slash on the ground. And then again, let him catch. And then right side on this cycle. That causes him to spawn on the left. Jumping charge slash. One last time, let him catch. And I should be all set. Now I refight Maha. I'll be using charge attacks on him again. I could use the spin slashes now that I actually have them, but it's actually not as good as charge slashes. Next is Herculeus. Switch to the ice for him, and that's also what I'll be using for the rest of the run. This time he's easy. He'll just always do what I want, as long as I haven't messed anything up. Good. So that's the first set down. Now I'm gonna skip the large health here, even though I'm pretty low. There's a good reason for that. Though it is kind of dangerous. A little bit of platforming. A little bit more shielding stuff. Don't need that one up. Haven't died yet. And now we're going to Phantom. This is a really dangerous fight because I have such low health. I'll take one intentional hit from him, and then if I take any more hits after that, I might die. Oh, that wasn't good. So I'll have to dodge this because I'm a bit slow here. Okay, good. And then the reason I want it to be so low is for an intentional death here. When I die, the RNG gets reset to 0. And that's important because when Phantom sets up that suicide attack, it actually like completely frigs the RNG manipulation. There's no recovering it for a human. So I just take that intentional death. Phantom still counts as being defeated, and I get to move on with manipulation for the rest of the stage. Phantom's or Harpooya rather, is pretty much the same, except since I've got the ice ship equipped this time, I might be able to finish him with a shield throw. That wasn't quite right. I think I only have 1 health. Okay. Kicked up a few more smoke clouds on the way, and I should be all set for this. I have to hit him really early in the fight to set it up properly. Oh, nuts. Okay. Things are frigged now. Dodge attacks. Okay, that kind of stinks because it'll mess up my manipulation on the second to last fight, but that's fine. Leviathan won't be affected. Like I mentioned when I first got to her, she's not random. I wait before ending the text there to let her float into a good spot where I'll be able to attack her. Yeah, she's gonna get away from her. So I gotta switch to the fire. Normally I can end the